Verisk's Emerging Issues, your source for vital market intelligence on the evolving risks and opportunities facing insurers and risk managers that can help inform product development and strategic planning. Verisk's Emerging Issues.
Hello and welcome to Verisk's Emerging Issues. My name is Greg Scobletti, and today we are talking to Mark Kinder, the Principal Analyst in Verisk's General Liability Coverage Solutions Department. If you know anything about the ISO General Liability Program, then you likely know Mark's name. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that Mark has played an instrumental role in the evolution of this program throughout his tenure at Verisk. And that tenure, we are very sorry to say, is drawing to a close. But before it does, we wanted to sit down with Mark virtually to learn a bit more about his journey through insurance and some of his thoughts about the roles that emerging risks have played in the evolution of the ISO General Liability Program. So Mark, welcome.
Thank you very much, Greg.
So before we get started, maybe could you give us a little bit of background? Tell us what you were doing before you joined Verisk.
Oh, certainly. Well, it goes back a long ways. I won't give you dates, but while I was attending college, I was accepted into a Kemper Scholar program that happened to be with Kemper Insurance at the time. And it was essentially a summer intern experience that I had in the claims department and then also in operations, so 2 separate summers, as well as formal classroom insurance courses. And then I was at Kemper for 27 years. That's how it started. But that scholar program turned into a job offer, led to full-time work at Kemper as a market-facing commercial casualty underwriter. And by commercial casualty, that simply means, the casualty lines of business, workers' compensation, commercial auto, general liability, and umbrella. So I did that for a few years and was then promoted to a home office underwriting role that had increased expertise and focus on general liability and umbrella underwriting management. Those responsibilities at that time included implementation of the famous ISO General Liability Simplification Program, as well as then doing more underwriting management work such as authority governance, underwriting guideline development, and product development was part of that, as well as underwriting referral handling and then quality and education. They, of course, roped me into teaching classes, and I actually enjoyed that. Then after I lost my job at Kemper due to their becoming insolvent, I spent a short time at Liberty Mutual as a market-facing multi-line underwriter, and then got a job working at Zurich North America in Schaumburg, Illinois. And I was there for 13 years. My role there was a home office general liability underwriting management role. My responsibilities included authority governance, guideline development, emerging issues monitoring, product development, underwriting referrals, quality, education, and also some rating and policy writing, automation, design, and support. Along that journey between Kemper and Zurich, I participated in the ISO General Liability panel, and that was spread over a number of years, and I served off and on for about 14 different years with the General Liability panel. That exposed me to kind of seeing how the convergence of emerging issues and risk transfer product development solutions like insurance forms play out in kind of real life. My offering to serve on the ISO GL panel to represent my employer really served as a broadening of my experience within the industry. I no longer felt that I was just limited to my company role, but I felt like I had some really responsibility to make contributions within the framework of the GL panel.
Obviously, then you moved on to Verisk, and can you tell us a little bit about what you have done at Verisk when you joined and
Certainly. Yeah, I've been here now at Verisk for over 7 years, probably closer to 8 years now. My role and responsibilities has been fairly consistent, but the role basically consists of gaining an understanding of the potential liability risks, evaluating impact of insurance coverage, developing new or revised policy provisions, including classifications and rating rules for customers' use. It also included translating my experience from a customer perspective into insights in our development of coverage solutions that our customers want and need. Third, I have been involved in reviewing and evaluating emerging risks or emerging issues, including new and revised laws and regulations, court decisions, as well as customer inquiries and suggestions. It kind of turned into or evolved along with emerging issues work. And lastly, engaging with customers and stakeholders. Certainly the general liability panel. The shoes were swapped here, and no longer was I a participant in the panel. I was now leading discussions on specific agenda topics, as well as then also customer engagements, one-on-one, more or less, with insurers, sometimes agents, groups. I would participate with them as well. And then, of course, internally within Verisk, we have a number of disciplines that really rely upon the coverage solutions team for support and insights, including actuarial, stat coding, rating, premium audit, and even other lines of business such as commercial, auto, and business owners. Along the way, I'd say, really I would kind of put my key accomplishments into four buckets, one of which would be, in not any particular order, but one of which would be developing the GL and umbrella coverage solutions addressing abuse or molestation, also cannabis, cyber liability, and the last one I believe I was involved in was PFAS exclusion. Another accomplishment is developing GL classification and rating solutions addressing unmanned aircraft, cannabis, autonomous vehicles, and numerous emerging risks. And then third, authoring customer-focused education courses that those address coverages primarily and also related topics applicable to the ISO GL and umbrella programs. And then fourthly, my last accomplishment really is the development of broad scale revisions of the general liability rules and classifications that are to be implemented, fortunately after I retire, but it'll be implemented probably sometime in 2027.
That last one was a significant project, a significant milestone that took a lot of effort to see out the door.
Sure has.
And
I've been at that now since actually I think we started working on it, myself and my manager, back in 2018. So
wow,
it's been a long development path, and of course a lot of disruptions, a lot of you know things that happened along the way that we had to pause that work and handle maybe higher priority topics.
life does get in the way, but
Hmm.
we talk a lot in insurance today about insure tech and a lot of the new sort of cutting edge solutions that we can see to help insurers. I'm thinking about AI in this respect. And, maybe in that universe, the world of coverage forms may not have the sort of allure or the cachet, but we all know, right? And coverage forms are the backbone of any insurance product offering. You have played an instrumental role in helping craft coverage forms, both at Verisk, as you've been describing, and in your prior roles. What's the one thing you wish people understood about the forms development process in an insurance or advisory organization?
I guess my angle here is that some people within the insurance community may question whether working at Verisk is a good career path advancement opportunity for them. And here's what I would say to them. What I've found in my underwriting experience with several ISO customers, that made me a valued contributor in my product development role at Verisk. My experience with insurers in frontline underwriting and underwriting management, even claim handling or claim management, would be highly useful experiences and very desirable in the product development work here at Verisk. The experience that provides a deeper understanding of real-life applications of insurance coverage, also the potential for adaptation or improvement. Such individuals have a great opportunity to make meaningful contributions that would really benefit all ISO customers. I've realized that while my product development work at Kemper and Zurich had significant value to the company and its customers, using those same skills here at Verisk has had even greater impact in the larger insurance marketplace. And lastly, I'd say, many people that do product development work here at Verisk may choose to make it a long-term career with ample growth opportunities within the organization. Others may choose to transfer their Verisk product development experience to similar work at an insurer, and they'll find that they are much more valuable contributor by having a bigger picture perspective that's gained from their experience here at Verisk.
And I do want to tap into that perspective you just mentioned, because in your time at the GL program, there have been a number of notable developments that have ultimately been incorporated into ISO product filings. And you referred to them a bit ago, right? The state legalization, or some states' legalization of cannabis, the rise of PFAS litigation. So can you tell us, in your view, what were some of the most interesting or notable emerging risks that you and the GL team have had to contend with over, say, the last 10 years?
I think for me, I'd say the most notable emerging risks have been these connected or interrelated issues of cyber liability, security breaches, access or disclosure of confidential or personal information, violation of privacy type issues, and then loss of electronic data. Those are all kind of connected things. They don't really stand apart from each other. They're all wrapped up together, and I've seen so much evolve just in my tenure here at Verisk, but certainly prior to that, there were definitely signs on the horizon that these issues were, that we would basically be confronting them here at Verisk, and the insurance community at large is confronting them and addressing them head on. Over the past 10 years, maybe more, the product development team here in ISO has invested significant effort in the development of the GL coverage solutions to address those issues. The emergence of these risks has evolved, and so have the ISO coverage provisions addressing them that have also been revised in recent years. So I would expect the GL coverage provisions will continue to be evaluated in light of changes to the exposures and how the insurance marketplace needs to evolve. I think another notable emerging risk is that legalization of cannabis and the insurance coverage needs of these new businesses in the growing commercial cannabis industry. Those GL product solutions or options that we introduced a few years ago, those have helped enable ISO's customers to meet cannabis business insurance needs. But as the industry evolves and laws may change, I think that's also likely that the coverage options we first introduced may need some revision down the road.
I know our team, the emerging issues team, will often collaborate on emerging risk research with the general liability team here at Verisk and some other ISO lines of business. But as you sit here today, as you look out into the marketplace today, what emerging risks have your attention right now?
You could also ask me what issues scare me the most, and I'd say for that it would have to be artificial intelligence. Basically, three reasons come to my mind: the potential that pervasive use of artificial intelligence could result in a diminution of human thought and our mental capacity for things like creativity, reasoning, judgment, decision making. So I think that we may not know the extent of these risks for one or more human generations. And by then, it may be very difficult or impossible to mitigate or reverse. So that's maybe the scary side of it. I think another, certainly to amplify on that, use of artificial intelligence could introduce some significant uncertainties of risks of fortuitous loss. So that's what we deal with with respect to insurance products. Dealing with unforeseen consequences, changes to the types of claims, claim frequency or severity may be different. So in my opinion, conventional risk assessment, management, and control practices might not be adequate to identify or mitigate such risks in the context of risk management or insurance. Also unknown is the extent to which AI could potentially challenge principles of legal liability, tort negligence, and risk transfer agreements such as indemnification clauses, and of course, insurance coverage for various lines of insurance. And I think lastly, artificial intelligence is what I would consider a borderless emerging issue. It interacts with, it's influenced by, and influences other identified emerging risks. There are things like autonomous vehicles, cybersecurity, privacy in smart homes, to name just a few. So, in my opinion, this makes assessment of the risks of AI more difficult and complex, since such assessment can't really be performed separately from other risks or emerging issues.
I think you're in good company because as you probably know, the Emerging Issues Bracket Challenge, the 2025 installment, is wrapping up. And by the time that this is public, we will have announced the top pick. And as I'm sure you can probably guess, the top pick this year, second year in a row, was artificial intelligence. So I think your concerns may be shared broadly across our colleagues throughout the insurance industry. So AI, certainly an emerging risk that we are going to be focused on and have been focused on very heavily on the team. So, Mark, I want to thank you again, not only for your time today, but for your service to Verisk, to your service throughout our industry. Like I mentioned in our opener, you've played an indispensable role at Verisk in the ISO GL program, a wonderful colleague. So I know I speak on behalf of all of our colleagues here at Verisk when I wish you a wonderful retirement. And any parting words for us, or any?
Well, yeah, I'd say it's been a pleasure working here. When I first started this job, I told my manager, Billy Morrow, I said, this kind of feels like my dream job. And, so it's been a pleasure working with such great colleagues, very knowledgeable people, very effective and proficient, professional. And so I'm proud to say that, I ended my career here at Verisk, where I feel like I finished at the top. And, general liability is in very good hands. I'm not worried at all about what's going to happen after I leave. So I'm just proud to have, lasted this long doing work in insurance, and have enjoyed my time here at Verisk especially.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, on behalf of the Emerging Issues team, we'd like to thank you for listening. You can follow all the work that we do on our website. Just visit core.verisk.com/EI.
Verisk's Emerging Issues, your source for vital market intelligence on the evolving risks and opportunities facing insurers and risk managers that can help inform product development and strategic planning. Verisk's Emerging Issues.